15 years ago, Tim Hudson made his mark in the green and gold. 15 years later, Hudson is now part of the orange and black, and the veteran is an anchor in a strong Giants rotation. Scott Kazmir just made his third All-Star team, and he leads the A's equally impressive starters with 10 wins. Today, Hudson and Kazmir square off in the final installment of the Bay Bridge Series. It's the A's and the Giants next. Well, it's the fourth and final game of the Bay Bridge Series. We're at AT Park, and if these two teams meet again this year, well, that would be a big story. It would be the World Series. Great pitching matchup today. Tim Hudson and Scott Kazmir, and the A's need a win, and that will help them take this series. It's the Bay Bridge Series. It's the Oakland A's. It's the San Francisco Giants, and it's coming up right here on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball, along with Ray Fosse. I'm Glenn Kuiper. Great pitching matchup. Beautiful day at the ballpark, and it's Scott Kazmir who's coming off a great start as he was very good against the Blue Jays on Saturday. If
teams have not seen Scott Kazmir, they will realize when they do see him that he's a pitcher now. We've said that over and over as he's won 10 games for the Athletics, but you look what he did in his last start against the Blue Jays. He is a pitcher. 8 strikeouts. Look at the assortment of pitches. A changeup in the dirt, a very aggressive Toronto Blue Jays ball club. He used all of his pitches, the breaking ball, little cutter, did everything to strike out 8 batters and picked up his 10th win. But because he is a pitcher, he does not rely on his 95, 98 mile-an-hour fastball as he did with the Tampa Bay Rays. And as a result, 10-game winners and All-Star. All
right, so he'll look for his 11th win today. Tim Hudson takes them on for the Giants. He'll be 39 years old on Monday, Ray. He is still pretty good. 5th best ERA in the National League.
You know, the amazing thing, the serious ankle injury he had last season, for him to be able to come back, he actually said during spring training he did not know if he'd be ready to start at the beginning of the season, but he's been a spectacular pitcher for the Giants. We know what he's like, but pitching in the National League, he still loves to hit, as he did whenever he's pitching in college and playing center field. But he knows how to pitch. Not a bad guy to give a ball to try to win a series.
All right, so indeed, the A's will try to get a win here in San Francisco. Those wins have been tough to come by in this ballpark for the Athletics. They'll try to do it under the sunshine today here at AT&T Park. Now, up next, we'll head back inside the A's pregame live studios for a Sportsnet Central update, and then back to the ballpark for lineups and first pitch.
box for the new Jalapeno Ranch or Barbecue Ultimate Cheeseburgers at participating restaurants. And by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
We are just minutes away from first pitch, fourth and final game of this Bay Bridge series with the A's and the Giants squaring off. True story for today is brought to you by McDonald's. We're going to go back to June 30th, 2002. That's Tim Hudson for the Athletics, and he pitched a 5-hit shutout versus the Giants at the Coliseum. At the time, it was his third career shutout, and at one point in the game, he retired 14 of 15 Giant batters. It was his 8th win of the season. He did it on 122 pitches, and he only struck out 1. That is our true story for today, brought to you by McDonald's. When we come back, Hudson will be pitching for the Orange and Black. We'll have lineups in first pitch when we come back to AT Park. Another sellout crowd tonight or today, and it should be a good ball game. Hudson and Kazmir, fourth final game of the Bay Bridge series. Hudson and the Giants take the field dressed in the all-white. And let's look at the game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. It's 67 degrees, and it says 7 miles per hour, but looking at the flags, they're blowing pretty stiff from right to left. So we'll see if that comes into play. Always breezy in this ballpark, and I'm sure a nice amount of A's fans have made the trip over. And that's one of the reasons that makes this series a lot of fun. Let's look at the lineup for the Athletics today. It starts with John Jaso, who's going to catch. Then Vogt is at first, Cespedes in left, Moss in right, Donaldson at third. Lowry will play short. He's a hot hitter. Callaspo at second, Gentry in center. Kazmir's your pitcher.
And he's not wearing his familiar number 15 because his manager, Bruce Bochy, has it. So he's wearing 17 instead. And Tim Hudson, though, still the competitor that he was for many years with the Athletics and with the Braves. And now his first season with the Giants. Faced the A's just one other time before today, but I'm sure very much into this game, wanting to show his former team, although the A's did try to re-sign him and he's a free agent this offseason, but decided to come over here where he could swing the bat.
Swing it.
And he is a very, very good hitter, as we will probably see when he steps to the plate today. But always a great guy, and happy to see him, especially recovering from the ankle injury from last year.
So Jaso steps in. Hudson has finished his warm-up tosses. And we are set for baseball. A's won the first 2 games in Oakland. Giants won last night here in San Francisco. And the first pitch of the ball game is a fastball swing and a miss. So we're underway. Right at 12:45.
One of the better pitches for Tim Hudson has always been the split finger fastball, which he still possesses. A lot of two-seam fastballs, the cutter. So maybe not as overpowering as he was at one time, but still knows how to pitch.
Hudson with the 5th best ERA in the National League. But he's been stuck on 7 wins for a while. He's 7-5, but he's winless in his last 4 starts. 0-3 with a no decision. So he's ahead of Jaso 0-2. Jaso hitting .269 with 7 home runs, 27 RBIs. So what does Hudson throw?
He just threw the splitter out of the strike zone, but splitter 11%, but he uses that for a strikeout pitch. The slider and the cutter, kind of similar type pitches. Fastball, a couple of different fastballs. Bulked up considerably since he was a younger, much thinner starting pitcher with the Athletics, but the insides have never changed. Always been a great competitor.
There's a line drive, and that's a base hit by Jaso. So that's how the ball game starts. Jaso fell behind in the count, but it's a leadoff single. The defense for the Giants today has Morse, Blanco, Pence in the outfield, Sandoval, Crawford, Hicks, and Belt on the infield, with Posey doing the catching. Mr. Posey, the former MVP, and it sounds like the Giants may get Marco Scutaro back tomorrow. How about that? They would be thrilled with that. It's been a little bit of a revolving door at second base, but Scutaro back is feeling a little bit better. Here's Vogt, who takes the first pitch strike. Vogt's hot. 366 is his average. Hit a home run last night. 9 hits in his last 19 at bats. Fastball at 90 miles an hour.
One of the things that Stephen Vogt does so well, and we have seen him since he returned early June, and that's be very patient, very selective. He has a pretty good idea how pitchers are going to pitch him, and he's not really swinging wildly at pitches out of the strike zone. That has been the case since he rejoined the club.
Swing and a miss off speed pitch from Hudson.
Well, he may go to it before he has to throw it for a strikeout. The split finger changeup actually did not move down that much, but still, change of speed was perfect.
Jaso inches off first in the pitch, and that's a swing and a miss. So a couple of off-speed pitches, and Hudson strikes out the hot-hitting Stephen Vogt.
Time now for the Nissan keys to the game. And yeah, Tim Hudson, if he settles in, he could be outstanding. And he can utilize actually our second point, the big part, find the gaps. That would be for the A's hitters, but Tim Hudson also knows pitching here in San Francisco. It is a big yard and a pitcher's yard, but the A's would like to find the gaps, and we all know where they are. Toward right center, and it triples out. Or over the fence for your own assessments.
Well, that'd be fun to watch him hit one to right center, though. Watch him run.
Right.
I think the A's would just like to see Cespedes get rolling.
Yeah.
He's scuffling right now. Average at 257, 14 home runs, 56 RBIs, 3 for 31, and that's hard to believe. And that's bounced to Hudson, who spears it, throws to second for 1, double play. That's a 1-4-3 double play, and the pitcher fielding his position nicely, and that's Tim Hudson. Giants coming to bat here in the bottom of the first inning. Let's check out the lineup. Starts with Pence, and then Crawford moves up to the second spot. Sandoval, Posey, Morris, Belt, Hicks, Blanco, and Hudson. There's your Giants starting lineup.
Scott Kazmir first start against the Giants. Of course, most of his career in the American League. But he has been very good, looking for win number 11, a .253 earned run average. He is good, and he's been great for the Athletics in his first season of a 2-year contract. And he is trying to improve on that and help the A's split this series here in San Francisco after winning the first 2 in Oakland Monday and Tuesday.
A's defensively looked like this: Cespedes, Gentry, and Moss in the outfield. Donaldson, Lowry, Callaspo, Vogt on the infield, and Jaso's your catcher. So Bob Melvin and his team with a 57-34 record, and they got that 3.5 game lead over the Angels in the West. And the first pitch to Hunter Pence is a strike. A's had a 6-game winning streak, then lost last night. So game number 92 on the season for the Athletics.
Our good friend Mike Krukow on the Giants side is talking about Scott Kazmir and said, what's the difference? And I said, as we have talked, Scott, he's a pitcher. He's using his changeup very effectively and not afraid to back it up. And of course, good breaking ball that he just threw Pence. So he's throwing him a fastball, changeup, and a little cutter in 3 pitches so far.
Well, he and Hudson the exact same ERA, 2.53 coming into this start. Kazmir's is 4th best in the American League. And Kazmir turned his career around last year with the Indians when he went 10-9, 158 innings, and he has been significantly better this year. So he's already won the same amount of games. By fastball swing and a miss, and it's 3-2. And I think the number that jumps out, Ray, is the 158 innings pitched last year.
Yeah.
He's at 110 this year, and I mean, that is not a big secret. The A's need him to go well past 158. This one hit high in the air to right field. And Moss has it.
That's a good point. Of course, there were people, because of his history, were saying, well, over under as far as 175, over that or below that. But I think Scott Kazmir getting caught up in the fact that his new club, a club that he's a very important member of, and that is wanting to pitch very effectively all the way through to the end and perhaps even in the postseason. And it means that maybe because of his style of pitching now, if he were an all-out fastball pitcher, there might be some concern. But now, because he is a pitcher using all of his pitches, especially changeup, that might be a determining factor as far as how many innings he does pitch.
Yeah, you start talking about pitching a full season, and then pitching into October, you can easily get to 220, 225 innings.
And yes, we know there are pitchers who might be listening or paying attention and then saying, what's wrong with that? We go 320 innings in regular season in the 4-man rotation.
And you probably caught a few of those guys.
Yeah,
that are thinking
but
that.
you know, that's different times, and it's a 5-man rotation, 6 to 7 innings max, pretty much. And back then, there were not a lot of specialists in the bullpen. Of course, there was Raleigh Fingers, who would go 3 innings for a save, and that a lot of times was a difference. That came last night, picked up the win. He's now 2-7. Got some offensive support.
And it's 2-2 now to Crawford.
There's your 6 innings, 2 runs, quality start. 6-3. Many object to that too. It should be 7-3 before it's considered a quality start.
2-2 pitch, off speed, swing and a miss.
Well, we saw with Nick Markakis with the Orioles, this pitch, the changeup to lefty. We've said that sometimes Scott Kazmir has better numbers against righties because he'll utilize his changeup more. Well, he's proving since the start against the Orioles that he'll throw it against left-handers as well. Very, very good pitch. Yeah, Scott Kazmir is ready, and Sandoval's got to go through the different things. Now Kazmir walks away, and you can see a little bit of disgust that he was ready to pitch. We've talked about the pitchers who want to pitch, and sometimes the hitters take too much time, and I think Kazmir right there said, I'm ready. Why are you taking so much time?
Well, I think, and this is just my personal feeling, is that a lot of times people think it's the pitcher who's slow. And I think, I mean, this whole deal here, I think, is just completely unnecessary. But I think the hitters are more at fault than the pitchers.
Now, this is it. He's got to go through the initials, and Kazmir's ready to go.
I think that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. And so Kazmir just backed off the mound and started walking around because pitchers want to get in a rhythm, and there's sometimes hitters will back out to try to slow down the rhythm of the pitcher.
But I think that's different than what we're talking about.
I agree, because he went through hit his helmet with his bat and then put initials in the ground, and they wonder why sometimes the games take so long. It's not always the pitcher.
Nope.
And I think I agree with you 100% when you say that.
And if you're watching the game and you're at all interested in what we're talking about right now, just watch a hitter.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then you'll see how much time they do take. That one is lined toward right field, but Moss is back there. He's got it, so well hit ball, but it's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Scott Kazmir. No score after one in San Francisco.
Happy as the Braves and the A's to have him in their rotation.
First pitch to Moss, and that one's lined toward left center field, and that's a base hit. Morris is over to cut it off. So leadoff single for Moss here in the second inning. So this is Oakland A's history. Tim Hudson has 92 of his career wins, and he got those with the Athletics.
Yes, he did, and boy, was he great. And Cap, I always felt you've got Dave Stewart in there, of course, Catfish Hunter, not to disparage any of those other pitchers, but I always thought that if you want to give the ball to a pitcher in a big game, you have the top of the list in Catfish, of course, Dave Stewart we saw in the late 80s, and Tim Hudson whenever he joined the club. Big games, and Tim Hudson said, when he's with the Athletics in a clinching game, just give me one run, that's all I need. And when a pitcher says that, he knows that he's going to go out and dominate, and Tim Hudson did more times than not when he took the mound for the A's.
So here Hudson's facing Donaldson, 237 with 19 home runs, 63 runs batted in. Missed again, the count 2-0. So Donaldson ahead in the count. And missed again. So now it's 3-0. Hudson has only walked 16 batters in 114 innings, and he's behind in the count to Donaldson. And a 4-pitch walk. How about that? So Tim Hudson has 212 career wins, and that is the most among all active pitchers. CC Sabathia at 208, but Sabathia doesn't look like he's going to pitch again this year. Cologne is going to get there, and Burley is going to get there as well, the 200 mark. So that's a good list to be sitting on top of.
Absolutely, and not surprising. And knowing the class of Tim Hudson, he is wearing 17. A lot of players in general wearing one number their whole career kind of demanded almost him. I don't care. Just give me another number, 17. Bruce Bochy's number 15.
So here's Lowry, who takes outside. Early opportunity for the A's against Hudson.
And the best hit in this inning, of course, the only hit, 4-pitch walk to Donaldson, but was the opposite field hit by Brandon Moss, and he waited back on an off-speed pitch from Tim Hudson.
Lowry, 10 hits in his last 20 at-bats to get his average up to 234.
You mentioned Tim Hudson. The A's were interested in bringing him back, and maybe even comparable money. Who knows? But he decided it's time with the Giants, and talking to him to spring training, I'm sure a lot of things factored in. Number one, pitching in this park. Number two, being able to swing the bat and hit, which he always has enjoyed. And his family lives in Atlanta. The A's will go to Atlanta this year. Of course, the Giants play the Braves as well.
That one cued towards short. Crawford charges, and the throw to first is just in time. Very strange ball. Had a lot of English on it. Crawford made the play. But it's a productive out.
That's when you want to take your bat and get that chalk they put on a cue stick, because this ball cued right off the end of the bat, and with the spin that was created because the way the ball was hit off the bat, offered a very, very good shortstop. And if Lowry had gotten hit on that ball, we would have known.
Yep, he's back.
Yeah, he is back. He's gotten some hits after a lot of line drives have been caught, but that would have been the top. So the A's have an opportunity. As we have said many times, gift runs early in the game. Infield back with one out. Aspen just trying to put the ball in play and get at least one of the runs in.
First pitch towards center. Blanco's got it and tagging up. Coming home is Moss. The throw to the plate is cut off, and try to throw behind the runner at second base. It's a sacrifice fly for Callaspo, and the A's have a 1-0 lead.
Gentlemen.
You know, the way Blanco caught the ball, you're thinking it's going to be a play at the plate. Good swing by Callaspo taking the sinker, but not a lot of arm strength. This ball barely made the cutoff man, and just hoping that Donaldson was not too far off the bag, that he was going to be called out before Moss crossed the plate. Callaspo, a good job getting the 1 run in.
So here's Gentry, and the pitcher is in the on-deck circle, and Hudson's going to go after Gentry. First pitch to Gentry is a bit outside, and this is always one of those spots with the pitcher hitting the pitcher in the lineup that if you don't get Gentry and you're Tim Hudson, you're going to be hacked off.
That's right.
Because you could walk Gentry and face the pitcher. That's early in the game. You may do that later in the game. Or you may see if a guy will chase a bad pitch, maybe.
And it really, and I agree with you, you'd like to have the pitcher leading off in a National League park. But it's really a no-lose for Tim Hudson, because if he does lose, and they're going to put him on now to pitch to Kazmir, and a couple of pitches trying to get him out, did not, and now they'll put him on the next two and let Kazmir try to do something.
It's kind of a strategy that the pitcher and the catcher have to figure out.
Right. I'm sure something that National League pitchers and catchers talk about in interleague play in their own parks, knowing that American League pitchers very rarely put a bat in their hand.
So here comes Kazmir.
Another reason why Tim Hudson won the pitch in the National League Stadium.
Well, that's sure.
Yeah, it's a
one big hitter less.
That's right.
First pitch to Kazmir, and a big swing and a miss. So remember, Kazmir, he has pitched in a National League park this year, but it was in New York, and he got knocked around against the Mets, and he only batted one time.
That's right.
He's 2 for 19 in his career. One pitch, grounded slowly toward Hicks, the second baseman. And side is retired, but a run for the A's on a sacrifice fly by Alberto Callaspo. So bottom of the second coming up, 1-0 Athletics. October 28, 1989, after a 10-day delay due to the Loma Prieta earthquake, the A's complete a 4-game sweep of the Giants, capturing their 4th World Championship in Oakland and their 9th overall. So the A's won the first 2 games at the Coliseum, and then the earthquake hit, and then they won games 3 and 4 at Candlestick Park. And this is the final out, and it was a pretty nice play by Tony Phillips and Dennis Eckersley. Celebration was on at the stick. And due to the circumstances, which we all know what that was all about, there was never really a parade for that 1989 team. And
nope.
I think not having a parade was obviously the right thing to do, but disappointing for the guys that won the World Championship. Bottom of the second inning. Buster Posey takes a fastball right there for a strike. Morris to follow, and then Belt. Posey's 2 for 10 in the series, and a shutdown opportunity for Kazmir.
Got the unfortunate earthquake, of course, 1989. But talking to Kurt Young and the fact that Bob Welch was supposed to start Game 3 of the World Series in San Francisco, as he was running in the outfield.
Cespedes has plenty of room.
There's a changeup, and that is provided on power. But as Bob Welch was running in the outfield, he hurt himself. And Kurt Young was told that because of the injury to Bob Welch, he was going to start Game 3. And Sandy Alderson, as Kurt Young and he were talking about it in New York, Sandy Alderson said at that time they informed the Giants that it was not going to be the righty pitching, it was going to be Bob Welch. not the righty Welsh, but Kurt Young instead, so they could make lineup changes. Sandy quickly said, in today's world, we wouldn't tell anybody.
No,
we just weren't a little worried about it. But Kurt was supposed to start game 3. He was not going to. But as it turned out with the earthquake, they went back with 2 starters from Oakland in games 1 and 2, and it was completed. But Kurt said, Bobby, are you all right? He said, oh, I'm not. I can't pitch. You're going to pitch. And
so Kurt was that close.
He was that close. And then the earthquake hit, and the game, and of course 10 days later, all the people were concerned about, rightfully so, with the health and well-being of the people who were involved in the earthquakes. But yeah, Kurt is that close to pitching, but still a very important member of that 1989 World Championship team. And that's why it was so devastating to all those team members, and especially Kurt Young, very close to now the late Bob Welsh. Sad whenever they learned of his passing. But an outstanding pitching coach, as we know, from many years with the Athletics, just 1 year to Boston. And who knew that the demise of the Red Sox in 2011 would benefit the A's when Terry Francona, unfortunately, was let go along with Kurt Young, and Kurt came back to Oakland and probably will never leave.
So 2-2 to Michael Morse. Morse has had a decent series. He's 4 for 11 with a double and a walk. And a good fastball, 95 miles an hour, and Morse strikes out.
Occasionally in the tank will come out with a 95 fastball, and Scott Kazmir showed it a little bit extra. And Michael Morse, you have to think about the scouting report and the changeups that Scott Kazmir will throw, especially to the righties, but every once in a while he'll feature the good fastball that he used so often with the Rays.
So first 5 have been retired by Kazmir. Here's Belt, the left-handed hitter. It's popped up. Donaldson into foul territory. He's got it, and a 9-pitch inning for Scott Kazmir. 6 up, 6 down. We're on to the third. 1-0 Athletics.
It's the first when the A's take on the Kansas City Royals. Fans will dress up as their favorite superheroes, and music from iconic superhero shows and movies will accompany the postgame fireworks show. Fans can watch the show from the outfield grass, but as always, on-field capacity is limited. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/fireworks. I was talking to David Don, of course, Diamond Vision, and brought up an interesting point about the fireworks at the Coliseum, with the fans able to go out on the field. He said, you think about it, fans can actually look straight up and see the fireworks. A lot of times,
the best way to do it.
A lot of times you have to see them out. Sometimes they put them on barges and other places we've seen way back to where you're looking out over the distance. But
I thought that was very interesting. You can have a picnic blanket, lie down on the grass, look straight up, and there are the patriotic fireworks.
So third inning and the top of the order for the Athletics. Jaso led off the ball game with a line single to right. Angels will play tonight. They are in Texas to open up a 4-game series against the Rangers. Santiago will pitch for the Angels. Colby Lewis for the Rangers. So down in Arlington to wrap up the first half. That's where the Angels will be. Belt was a little bit of a tricky hop. And the Twins and the Mariners will play tonight, and that's the final of a 4-game series. The Twins have won 2 of the first 3 games, so the Mariners right now 8 games out. Angels 3.5.
Oh, and so many decisions. Kind of get to Seattle. Do you stay in and watch the game on the MLB app, or do you go to Safeco Field and watch the game live, or you don't do either?
Or how about this? Hope that the hotel you're staying in has the MLB network. That's always a big thing for us. Most of them have them, but not all. I don't remember if Seattle has it or not.
I don't know either. We don't know if the Mariners game will be on TV, but there you could have it on your iPad on the app to watch that game and watch the game in Seattle or go to sleep.
That's right. I think I know what you're going to be doing.
Because I didn't get any sleep last night. I know that because of the short night. But it is baseball, and it's sunny, and you deal with it. B.I. didn't have any complaints. He was here bright and early, doing everything.
B.I., our terrific stat man who follows us over the Bay Bridge. Right. He's coming to play the Giants.
He brings the Seagulls.
That one hit toward right center, but block goes over. And B.I. occasionally works for the Giants, but I think he has more fun with us.
Well, in case you missed it last night, the A's didn't score much, but when they did, this is what happened against Matt Cain. Cutter, and it was gone. Way over. And the fan had actually caught it just before it went in the water and hurled it back on the field. Or at least he hurled a baseball. Whether that was the actual one, we don't know, but came back into right field.
Yeah, I asked Stephen about the home run, which just kind of curious about. And he said right after he hit it, he said he thought it was a changeup. He said, but then when he watched video of it, he said, no, he said it looked like a little cutter, a little slider, or something that really didn't do a lot.
And that would be like a batting practice fastball or changeup with minimal velocity. And of course, the way he waited on the 3-2 pitch, it left in a hurry.
And that got Buster Posey somewhere, so he'll try to walk it off.
Well, they talk about collisions and foul balls. How about this? Off the left knee.
Square in the knee.
Yep. And that's why the shin guards, while they're nice and they help you going down to block a ball, but this is not helpful at all. That's how much a foul tip off the bat, changed direction, went under his glove and right on his knee. When he had the unfortunate injury, a couple of years ago? Was it 11 that he injured his knee, or
it was 11? Yeah.
Someone is asking me about that collision, which I thought it was not necessarily a great slide by the person who was doing it. And I also said, you have the bumps and bruises as a catcher. If you don't want to do this, which you don't, the only way you can do that is change positions. And he wants to catch. He's made it certain that he's talked about people saying change position, but he wants to catch. He's very good behind the plate. I don't think anybody who's ever put on the catching gear wants to stay there. If you take a shot like that, you'll feel it when you go to the plate.
So would you say then the only time you feel normal and feel good is when you catch your first bullpen in spring training?
Spring training, yeah. Exactly right.
After that, anything can happen. Lowest catcher's ERA. That means simply what your pitcher's ERA is when that guy's catching. And Norris, no surprise, and Posey third.
Tell us about Yadier Molina also on that list.
Is that unbelievable? We'll tell you what happened to Yadier Molina when we come back as Cespedes strikes out. So Hudson has a 3-up, 3-down inning. 1-0 Athletics as we head to the bottom of the third. Brought to you by Sonoma Raceway. The NHRA Sonoma Nationals return to Sonoma Raceway July 25th through the 27th. Feel the horsepower. Beautiful day in the Bay Area, and the A's trying to take 3 out of 4 from the Giants. They'll need a win today to do that. They lead 1-0. It's the bottom of the 3rd inning. Scott Kazmir has retired the first 6 as he faces Hicks, Blanco, and Hudson. Brandon Hicks made the team out of spring training and then played a lot the first couple months, and he wasn't hitting for a high average, but he was hitting some big home runs for Bruce Bochy, and Bochy left him in there. The problem now is the home runs aren't happening, and he's going to be 0 for his last 23, so the playing time is decreased for Hicks.
Yeah, I saw him briefly in Oakland, and of course he's a very good kid. When he played for the Athletics, had the big walk-off, his first major league home run. But I commented about that exact same thing. He said, I got to get it going though, and he knows that, you know, while the home runs are few and far between, and he started out great, but it's the old, what are you doing in the other times as far as the hits?
And you know what else he knows is that Marco Scudero is coming back tomorrow.
That's a great point.
That's the tough call.
Yeah. That's a great point. Of course, he would not have had the opportunity had Scudero been healthy, as Marco would have been playing every day.
So, Ray, we teased you a little bit with the Yadier Molina. Well, we just found out that Yadier Molina has a ligament tear in his thumb, and he's going to have surgery tomorrow, and he is out. This is from the St. Louis Cardinals, obviously. He is out 8 to 12 weeks, and that's about the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's wow. That will take you through September, and he's able to come back for postseason, maybe.
When you think about irreplaceable players, I mean, that would be like the A's losing a Donaldson or a Cespedes.
Well, some would say that the rule was implemented, which was the protection of the catchers, because Yadier Molina, not only an outstanding Gold Glove catcher, but a very important piece on the offense. And that probably was key. Mike Matheny, a former catcher himself, very smart, saying, you know, if I can protect my catcher so I have him to catch plus hit, then that will help. But that's too bad, because he is an outstanding catcher, one of the 3 Molina brothers. Jose still playing. Of course, Benji, the Rangers first base coach.
So we'll see what the Cardinals do, if there's anything they can do.
Is it the Rangers? Who's Benji?
Yeah.
Is it the Rangers? Yeah.
Now, A.J. Brzezinski was released by the Boston Red Sox, which I guess initially you see it and you're somewhat shocked, but then when you start reading the articles and how things were going with him in Boston, then you're not surprised at all. And I don't know, tough guy to figure out. I mean,
almost like the manager they hired before John Farrell. You scratched your head and said, what kind of matchup fixes that for the Red Sox? But yeah, that was really a little surprising.
3-2 pitch, and a slider that hung a little bit. Blanco fouled it back, so the count remains 3-2.
As you were talking about, that's an old style mask there. I see an umpire. I wouldn't wear that mask catching.
No,
definitely get hurt with that one. Baseball probably fit right between the bars.
And like we like to say, that gentleman stood in the mirror this morning and went, I'm going with the mask.
Yeah, I'm going to take Bart too.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and you can say whatever you want, but I'm going to be out in the public.
Swing and a miss. Blanco strikes out, and that's the second out.
Now a little extra 94, but the slider that he threw to get the foul ball, and just remember, Tim Hudson now is hitting, 9th place hitter, the pitcher, and Blanco in the 8th spot. And as you mentioned, with the pitcher hitting 9th, that's a very important member. And Scott Kazmir, last thing he wanted to do was walk Blanco to get to Hudson.
First pitch is inside to Hudson.
First game Tim Hudson pitched against the Padres, and of course in a National League park in interleague play. Tim Hudson got a hit, started to go to second, and the look on his face when he rounded first and stopped was, oops, wow, I better stop. But he could hit. Now, when you pitch in college and you also play center field because you're such a good hitter, it says a lot about Tim Hudson.
And in the outside corner, 1-2. 164 is his career average. Just a touch inside, even the count 2-2. Pretty good swing there, fouls it straight back. So here's the day that Ray's talking about, June 8th, 1999.
He had the splitter working and wearing number 52, and that's what they give you when you first show up. And here's the hit, and watch this. It's his dad was there. Yeah, he rounded and said, I think I'll go. And then that look on his face, boy, was priceless when he, wow, don't think so. But a great Oakland A, man. He was good. One of the big three, Hudson, Mulder, Zito. And the big three were outstanding. You know, as an opposing team, when you looked at the three-game series, you were just very hopeful. Please don't let it be all three working together, because they worked back to back to back, and you happen to be unlucky you got all three in a three-game series.
Hudson slices one down the right field line.
Zito, of course, signed a huge contract with the Giants after his 2006 season with the Athletics. So another member has joined the Giants rank.
Popped up again, foul.
And here's the 10th coming up to Tim Hudson.
And here it is, and it's a fastball high, and the first base runner is a walk to Tim Hudson. So that's a heck of an at-bat for Hudson.
All right, figure that many pitches is frustrating for a pitcher to face another pitcher, even more frustrating to walk him.
So Pence steps in, he hit a fly ball to right field. First at bat. And he takes a changeup in for a strike. Pence in the series is 4 for 13 with a homer and a double. And it's 0-2.
Now Hudson's not being held at first. Kazmir lifted the leg. Hudson went back to first. Just lifting the leg, even though he's talking to Stephen Bowe, saying not even being held on. It fooled him so much that he thought the throw was coming over. Another good changeup, and there's Bowe playing behind Tim Hudson. Of course, the ankle injury, probably not even thinking about running.
Another changeup. This one's outside.
As most hitters will think fastball, and Hunter Pence always aggressive, kick in the dirt, and you throw him another one.
Pull that one a little bit, 2-2. Pence homered last night. It was his 12th of the year.
The important thing is to look at the location where it was supposed to be and where it ended up, and tell why the home run was hit. Pence didn't know they were setting up inside. He just looked for the baseball, got it away from him, aggressively stroked it to center.
2-2 pitch, fastball on the inside corner, and Pence never swung the bat. So a good pitch by Kazmir. He gets his 4th strikeout. Moss is going to lead things off when we come back. 1-0, the A's lead.
against the Orioles, 15,000 fans will receive a 1989 throwback T-shirt presented by Singevity as part of the 1989 World Series Championship Reunion Weekend. This limited edition T-shirt features a hand-drawn caricature of some of the 1989 team's most recognizable players. For information and tickets, visit athletics.com/1989 or call 877-493-BALL. It'll be a great weekend right following the All-Star break. And now Adrian Johnson has been attended to by the Giants trainer.
He's not doing good, Ray, and we may have a change here. We don't obviously not know what is wrong, but that's Dave Greshner, the trainer for the Giants, who's checking him out. They started checking him immediately when the inning came to an end.
Well, that is Angel Hernandez is going to go in and change into the gear. So I'm sure that's going to make a lot of people happy. The crew chief Angel Hernandez saying, "I'll take charge. I'll go."
Bruce Bochy's going great.
Yeah. So Angel
great.
will looks like he's going to put the gear on. Angel.
Well, we hope Adrian Johnson's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So when we hear something, if we do, we will certainly let you know. We're trying to think if did he get hit?
Yeah, there was a foul ball that came back.
Well,
I think it was off of Jaso. I think when the A's were in the field.
So Jaso.
There was a
so the Giants were hitting,
but there was a foul ball that I think it hit both Jaso and Adrian Johnson.
No, it wasn't Hudson, was it? I mean, Hudson fouled. Well, he did foul.
He fouled off 4.
Pence didn't make contact.
No.
Blanco struck out. I don't recall.
He fouled off 2 with a couple of strikes. I just keep whenever the hitter gets 2 strikes. So there were 6 foul balls with 2 strikes, counting with Blanco and Hudson. But it just nothing happened. It was just one of those that unfortunately guys take them. But remember too the number of the concussions that have occurred with foul balls off mask of catchers. And of course the umpires are subject to that as well, because really they're probably more visible than the hitters or the catchers, just because they're standing behind and the body's exposed to whatever might happen off the bat. It's the only thing I can think of, because it wasn't anything that occurred as far as
and I mean, listen, it takes a while for the umpire to get all their gear on.
That's right.
It's fairly significant. So we think, and again, we're just looking through this, but way back in the bottom of the first inning, Pablo Sandoval at bat, and this could possibly be it. Again, we're just looking through things here.
Now see, that's a direct blow right off of the Jaso, and then he's checking him out and saying, "Are you okay?" And then he had to take the mask off, and I think right there is he's maybe a little bit concerned, wanted to check the mask to make sure that that's a direct hard hit blow. But for, like you said, Kite, for an umpire to put on the gear to umpire behind the plate, he basically has to take off.
You got to take your clothes off.
Take everything off. Yeah. Start with the shin guards underneath the pants. You put a chest protector with shoulder pads on underneath the jersey. And
well, we've been told that this delay will be part of the final time of game, which I tell you what, I was really wondering about that.
Yeah, I'm glad we were informed too. I was actually put down the time. It's like when it rains and they put the tarp on. I actually put the time down just in case that would be factored in.
They're going to have to figure out what to do with that, right?
Well, let's hope Adrian Johnson, and the most important thing is that the other umpires conferred, the trainers you mentioned, with the Giants, and we do know that for players there's a 7-day disabled list if there are concussion symptoms, and they are very strict about that, they being Major League Baseball, the staffs, the training staffs, and of course the umpires are subject to that as well. So let's hope he's okay if that is the reason for him coming out of the game.
So Tim Hudson's gone in the dugout, which may not be a terrible idea at this point. Plenty of sunshine.
And he should be able to get whatever is necessary to loosen up before he does have to pitch the first batter, which would be Brandon Moss.
So the A's got their run in the second inning. Moss singled, Donaldson walked, and then after a ground up moved the runners up. Callaspo had a sacrifice fly. So
Casimir put his jacket or sweatshirt on.
Casimir has not allowed a hit yet through the first 3 innings. There's certainly a lot of
well, while we're waiting for Angel Hernandez to get the umpiring gear on, we'll tell you that we celebrate Yoenis Cespedes at the 1:05 p.m. game Saturday, August the 2nd. That will be against the Kansas City Royals that afternoon. 10,000 fans will receive a La Potencia t-shirt. It's presented by NetSuite, which pays tribute to the A's left fielder and 2013 Home Run Derby champion Yoenis Cespedes. For information and tickets, visit athletics.com/1989 or call 877-493-BALL.
Here's Ed Montague, who is at the ballpark here in San Francisco. He was in Oakland as well for the first 2 games of this series.
One of the umpiring supervisors, Eddie, a long-time umpire, and there is Angel Hernandez.
It's pretty quick change by Angel Hernandez. He and Buster Posey get along tonight. He told Buster, "Don't push me, Buster," on Tuesday night.
And the fans appreciated the fact that Angel took very little time to get ready, so they are welcoming him with an opening boo. Sure, there are a lot of fans that were there, but
well, there's A's fans that are booing him too.
That's right.
So it's not a.
Well, it was both sides. It was both sides.
No question.
I mean, and this was the balk, and actually Angel Hernandez, I don't know why he said in play, but watch Angel Hernandez say, "Okay, you're in play." Machia is in the windup. Now he goes in the set position of the stretch, and he simply said, "All I was doing is going into the stretch." Well, he had set up in a windup, and that's when Angel Hernandez essentially said the ball's in play. And then when he made his first move and stopped, they considered that a ball.
And I think we both agreed that technically it was a ball.
Yeah.
But our question was, why would you tell the pitcher to go when he's really not in the right position and he is on his way to getting into that position?
And
I mean, I don't think
the hitter was out of the batter's box.
And the hitter was out of the batter's box.
Callaspo was not even in the box, and because there are times that maybe the umpire will try to hurry up and say to the pitcher, "Hitter's ready, let's go," but Callaspo was not in the box.
Well, there was another interesting argument, and that was you're not allowed to argue a balk.
Yeah.
You get thrown out.
Yeah.
And how many Giants players or managers were arguing the balk? Pitcher, catcher, manager, and none of them got thrown out.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you can explain it or ask for an explanation, but not argue.
That's what they were all asking for, an explanation.
Yeah, all three of them. Because they were all confused.
So we're set to get back to work here with Moss leading off the top of the 4th inning.
Tim Hudson did take some additional warm-up tosses, and actually Angel Hernandez, the new home plate umpire, should have been behind the catcher Posey and checking him out.
Shift is on. Hicks is way out in right field, and he throws, and they just got Moss on a very close play. Hicks was so far out there that if it's a ground ball, he's not going to get him. But this was a line drive.
And you watch Hicks take a little bit extra time, a little crow hop, and he almost was victimized by the hustle. And that's just too much time, and you're playing that deep. You have to realize that's what can happen, and that would be very embarrassing to have a hitter be safe when you're using the shift and not able to throw him out because you take too much time.
Yeah, and technically the shift worked for you.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So something to watch for now, Ray, is the umpires. So you have an umpire at first and an umpire at third, no umpire at second. And there's obviously a plan in place on how the umpires rotate around on the bases for different plays.
Well, if somebody reaches first, and when when the runner reaches first, you'll see the third base umpire go over between the pitcher and the second base, vacating the left side of the infield. And that's why an appeal will have to go for a left-handed hitter, will have to go to the umpire behind the pitcher's mound. But that is all planned, and I'm sure Eddie Montague informed the umpires. They are now with 3.
Well, you certainly hope that doesn't come into play.
Exactly.
Donaldson bounces it past Hicks. It takes a wicked hop, and Donaldson's aboard. So Hicks looked like he was ready to make the play, but the ball was hit pretty hard.
Well, it was a high fastball, and Donaldson, great opposite field hitting, and they can listen, and you can see. And Hicks is there and crushed.
So it's a hit for Donaldson, and here's Lowry.
And Hicks said, can we go a shift again so I can go to right field?
Need a little more time.
Now see, here's the umpiring line. Runner at first, third base umpire moves near second base. And that's because there has to be somebody second in the event of a force out or an attempted steal. He can't stay at third, so he has to move. And again, something they work on in umpiring school and spring training. A lot of times they only use 3 umpires.
So that's the way it is right now. Paul Nauert is the first base umpire. Ripperger is now positioned near second base.
And you'll see this if, let's say, the left-handed hitter is the case right now. If there's a check swing and Buster Posey wants an appeal, they immediately would look to third because there's nobody there. And that's why they'd have to go to Paul Nauert or the Mark Ripperger at second base, and he's not going to have as good an angle as a third base umpire would.
Lowry takes the ball 2-1. I guess the way it's set up now with the runner at first, the only real problem would be a ball down the left field line. If it was, a close ball near the line.
And that's where the home plate umpire would have to be the one to make the call. And a hard hit ball over the bag. Does it go over the bag?
Lowry drills one left center field, but Morris gets over there and reaches up to make the catch. Well hit ball by Lowry. Off the bat, it looked like it had a chance, but it just hung up there. Ball right in the heart of the plate. So not really where Hudson wanted it, but he got an out. So with 2 outs, Callaspo will hit. He's got the sacrifice fly for the only run in this game so far. There's RBI number 31 for Callaspo. First pitch, strike call.
I was curious as to why in a situation like this, and again we hope Adrian Johnson's okay, that Angel Hernandez, granted he's a crew chief, but he was at second. He umpired behind the plate on Tuesday. First base umpire Paul Nauert will be behind the plate in tomorrow's game as they will continue on after this series. And last night Mark Ripperger was behind the plate, so he was.
Nice play by Sandoval, and he throws to first to get the runner Callaspo. So Pablo Sandoval diving to his left, and side is retired. Bottom of the 4th coming up. of the game. Tweet your photo to CSNCA fan photo. Put your name down and your hometown down for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Today's fan photo comes from Sylvester Valderrama from Stockton, California. That's Braden and Sly. Oh boy. 70s. Crawford, Sandoval, Posey here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Kazmir has yet to allow a hit. One base runner was Hudson's 2-out walk in the third inning.
Well, how much does the strike zone of Angel Hernandez differ from that of Adrian Johnson? Both pitchers still in the game, starting pitchers, so they both have to experience that. There are some pitchers who have books on closing hitters and books on umpires as far as their strike zones. Do not know about Scott Kazmir, if that is the case with him. But everybody's different. Every umpire is different as far as their zone.
Swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. Crawford struck out in the first inning, and he has not looked comfortable against Kazmir.
Changer.
That one rolled to second. Caspo has it, and that's out number one.
I think that's always good, especially for advanced scouts, to recognize that Scott Kazmir is not just a change-up pitcher to right-handers.
Pablo going through the routine again. Kazmir is ready to go. Sandoval hit a ball hard to right field in the first inning. There's a shot to Donaldson, who grabbed it. 2 outs.
And on a bright sunny day, a lot of light white shirts in the audience. There's fans watching, and you're at third base. And how about this? That's concentration. Gosh, Donaldson really did not have a chance to move. Maybe the sunglasses helped. Let's hope, because that was a rocket.
He swings at the first pitch and fouls it back.
Crawford's ground ball was the first ground ball out, recorded by today's starting pitcher for the A's, Kazmir. Everything else in the air, except for the strikeout.
Line shot toward right center. Gentry back now comes in a step, so a couple of hard hit balls, but nothing to show for it for the Giants. Kazmir, nothing for the Giants through 4. Discover RV in Lodi. Come and check out our grand opening and summer savings. Visit our website at discoverrv.net. 1-0, the A's lead. It's the top of the 5th inning. Gentry to lead it off against Tim Hudson. Gentry, Kazmir, Jaso in the 5th. Gentry walked in the 2nd inning, and the first pitch to him is a strike.
Now Gentry has a little bit added pressure on himself to try to get on base in front of Scott Kazmir. If he gets on, then Kaz could attempt to bunt him to second base, or from second to third, whatever.
So he'll have to battle back from an 0-2 count.
I think it's always difficult. We talk about the DH not being used in National League parks, but also a hitter, position player in front of the pitcher. Knowing what to do, your role, what you're trying to do. Of course, always trying to get on base, but even more so leading off an inning with the pitcher up next.
Gentry checked his swing. .50 pitches for Hudson. So his pitch count is decent through 4 innings. Sandoval scoops it up. The throw is just a bit high, but Belt grabs it. So I've heard this theory, Ray, on the difference between a pitcher pitching in the American League and pitching in the National League. I think there's a little bit of truth to it, but in the American League you almost pitch to each individual hitter, whereas in the National League you kind of work your way through a lineup. Meaning there's a couple areas where you want to get to in a National League lineup. You obviously want to get to the pitcher spot if you're the guy in the mound. And sometimes it almost revolves around the 8th and 9th spots. Exactly. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. And again, I think that's why Tony Russo was the first to start in St. Louis, where he changed all that by having the pitcher hit 8th. But he had to explain to the 9th place hitter, I'm doing this for you. It's not against you, saying that the pitcher's a better hitter. But I think he had Pujols hitting 3rd there, and he would have preferred to have maybe the 9th place hitter being a position player to try to get on to set the table instead of the pitcher being not necessarily an automatic out, but more of a sure out than a hitter who hits every day. But I agree, because what we saw in Miami, which was strange in the 14-inning game, because there were no hitters available, and here's the Johnson was due up, so that meant you had to intentionally walk 2 batters to get to him, but with 2 outs, instead they pitched to Donaldson. He drove in the go-ahead run on the 14th.
The count goes to 2-0 to Jaso, and everybody moves. That one's hit to right. That's hit well. Pence going back, hustling back. It's over his head. It bounces off the wall, and Pence has trouble picking it up. And Jaso's going to make it to 3rd. So a 2-out triple for John Jaso. And once Pence did not pick it up cleanly the first time, that allowed Jaso to head to 3rd.
And not that he would have been able to catch the ball, but I think Pence was not able to pick the ball up initially because he looked like he's struggling a little bit there, and then realized I got to get going and just threw up his glove. And right there is one hit in the arches and bounced around a little bit. Jaso showing his speed. And remember, he's catching today, and he was able to hit it, not a home run, so he had to stretch it himself. Did not pick up Mike Gallego because the ball was in front of him. And that's when you wanted to be 100% that you reach 3rd. And he was able to get there. And see if Stephen Vogt can come through with another big hit and driving home with 2 outs.
Vogt a strikeout and a fly ball to center field. Well, with Kazmir pitching well, and maybe we won't need a whole bunch of runs today. outfield base hit. Stephen Vogt does it again. Well, he is something. So a 2-out triple and then a single, and it's 2-0.
And it looked horrible in the first at bat, striking out. Got fooled, and the fly ball to center field comes up to the runner in score position. A high 83-mile-an-hour changeup, and he crushed it to right center. And well, somebody enjoyed it. You hear the yeah, and everybody would say yeah in the green and gold because another big hit by Stephen Vogt. And all those fans, wherever they are today, that are normally in right field, they still believe in Stephen Vogt. Jay So showing his wills to get to third and able to trot home on the base hit.
So here's Cespedes. First pitch in for a strike. Cespedes has hit into a double play and struck out.
Of course, he's demonstrating the way Craig Gentry, who can fly, runs with the hand. But Jason and Norris and Stephen Vogt is not that bad, but we know that Norris and Jason can both run well.
Outfield playing deep in left field and center field. Pulled over toward left center just a little bit. Cespedes is going to swing foul straight back. So Hudson got the 8th place hitter and the 9th place hitter. 2 outs, nobody on, but the Jaso triple and then the Vogt single. Pitch is in the dirt. Posey blocks it. It rolls away from him just a little bit. So the count even 2-2.
That's a good block, and that's a big block because it kept the runner at first base. Angel Hernandez, as Posey must have gotten hit someplace because Angel is giving his catcher a little bit extra time. Posey moving to his right on the breaking ball, came up and got him in an area that always protected, but most time always hurts. So Angel realized that, gives him that extra time. So they put an Astros beside that block.
Yeah. Maybe a couple of them.
Yeah.
2-2. Setting up outside, and it's a swing and a miss and a foul tip. Posey grabbed it, and Cespedes strikes out for the second time. Well, Bob Melvin,
yeah. Because he saw dirt, and that's what he's probably going to question. Because it was Angel Hernandez, as Posey showed his mitt. But he's got him backhanded.
There's going to be no challenge, so it goes down as a strikeout, but a run for the Athletics. 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. A's get a run. It's 2-0 in.
Watch this.
Watch the ball hit the bat.
This is a foul tip. Ball hits the dirt into the catcher's mitt. You see the dirt. Jose holds it up. Angel Hernandez says he's out.
So I don't think there's any question that Cespedes made contact with the baseball, and I don't think there was any question that the ball hit the ground before Posey kind of short hopped.
Exactly. But a 95 was thrown by Morris his last at bat, that being his first, struck him out. But this fastball straight away center field.
So that's the first hit in the game for the Giants. It comes in the bottom of the 5th inning. 1 walk, 4 strikeouts for Kazmir, and this will be pitch number 60. And Belt takes a slider for strike. Belt is really scuffling. He's 0 for 12 in this series, and since coming back from the disabled list, he's 2 for 23. Fastball outside.
With that in mind, you think about the shift the A's are employing, 3 to the right side and just Donaldson on the left side. You have a hitter who is struggling. He's trying to make contact, and he doesn't necessarily hit into maybe what the reports have shown in the past when he was healthy. He is opening up, and as we saw last night, swinging some bad pitches, and that one was in the dirt. And you think that the way he opens up, yes, he's going to pull the ball, but if it's elevated, that long swing might be a pitch that he hit the opposite field against the shift. So as we have often talked about, you try to pitch into your defense. If you're going to shift, then try to pitch him accordingly to try to pull the ball.
Fastball outside, 2-2. So Donaldson playing right at the shortstop spot. Morse, short lead at first. 2-2 pitch is hit foul outside. That final all-star vote is now complete for the final 2 players, and Chris Sale from the White Sox made it, and Anthony Rizzo from the Cubs, power hitting first baseman, made it for the National League. So those are the final 2 all-stars. Belt fouls it back, although I think there's going to be some replacements soon to come.
I wonder if what happened today in Cincinnati, if Rizzo got any votes from the Reds players.
Yeah, scuffle today. Bench clearing brawl between the Cubs and the Reds. Who won that game, B.I.? It was tied in the 9th inning.
Yeah, Chapman was in.
Yeah, he was pitching the top of the 9th.
Cubs won it.
And the 2-2 pitch to Belt. Belt plays off. So he did not chase that one. I wonder if Kazmir would throw another off-speed pitch.
Well, Donaldson talking to Lowry as they are 3rd and short, but Lowry's on the second base side. If it's a strike him out, throw him out, which I would maybe not even think Morris is going to be running, because he might throw him the pitch you just mentioned and might get a swing and miss.
Foul tip, and he just got a piece of what was a high slider, maybe.
Yep, that was a hanger. It was up in the eyes, and he almost threw it for contact instead of a swing and a miss, and that is a contact that a healthy Belt or a Belt with consistent at bats might have changed this game completely.
So we'll do 3-2 again. Hicks, the right-handed hitter, is in the on-deck circle. Not running, and a slider, and he struck him out. So Brandon Belt looks a bit lost right now, and that's strikeout number 5.
He's got the hips opening up and recognizing the slider or not. This is not a pitch that's even close to the strike zone. And that's pretty good pitching when you stay away from his powerful swing, which would be a fastball in the inner part of the plate. Why guys don't like going to the disabled list. Of course, in his case, with a fracture, nothing you could do about it.
Takes a while, right?
Yeah, you miss time from the injury, and then you try to rehab, and then you come back in to this time of the year when pitchers are at their top of the game. And in their midseason form, making their 17, 18 starts.
Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. Hicks hit a fly ball to center field in the third inning. And in the dirt. Nice block by Jason.
Again, it's all about anticipation when you block pitches in the dirt. Jaso anticipating the pitch there, so he moves nicely to his left. So he caught the ball, but you're calling the pitch. You know the tendencies of your pitcher. You anticipate a pitch that's in the dirt, especially something that's off speed. And then you're not on this fastball away. Would you think that way?
And a strike call, 2-2. Gets up. Pitcher spot. Move it in that direction anyways. 2-2.
Oh,
late timeout call. Wow. Casimir.
You gotta be kidding me.
Joe Hernandez with a late timeout call.
They're yelling, the A's bench yelling at Angel Hernandez, and you cannot give timeout to a hitter that late when the pitcher is getting ready to throw. Casimir is looking, and watch him step out, and then he
had already started.
Exactly. You know, yeah, Dallas Reagan used to throw them. Remember Tom Busk in Cleveland when you're in the brother, he would fire it up over the backstop. You know, you just want to follow through, but when you see the umpire back out, you automatically stop. And unfortunately, if you're already started, and it looked like his left cleat with his left foot in the rubber got caught as he started.
And it's all because you're stopping.
Exactly. That's it.
Or trying to. 2-2 pitch, fastball, and that's a swing and a miss. So Hicks goes down. So Hicks 0 for his last 24.
Looking at a highlight from last night's game, as you see this fastball at a 94 miles per hour to Hicks is, you know, I guess he did the smart thing. He verbally asked, didn't put his hand up and start to step out. Adrian Beltre did that last night in Texas, stepped out. Umpire didn't grant time. Pitcher's out in the middle, caught him out on strike 3.
First pitch to Blanco is outside. Well, the thing is you don't want to take your hand off the
That's right. Cespedes did, remember that?
Yeah.
And almost hit a ball out to center field one-handed. I said, join us. You don't know a lot of English? Ask timeout. Just learn those 2 words. Don't put your hand up. Ask for timeout by just saying those 2 words. Prieto's not there to interpret for you.
Don't think Prieto's anywhere near the batter.
Yeah, he can't stand there next to you. But that was interesting. He put his right hand up. The umpire did not grab the time, and one-handed almost hit it out to center field. That swing was swinging well.
Cheek coming back. And there's a strike, 1-2.
I think sometimes with a hitter like Tim Hudson, you have to determine, is your pinch hitter going to be better than your pitcher that's already in the game?
And he's pitching fine.
Yep.
So 1-2 to Blanco. Blanco is 0 for his last 19. There's some serious slumps going on. Giants notes. Man.
They realize how to spell Ofer.
They sure do. There's a line drive headed for the right field corner. Moss is going to play it out for the wall, and Morris is going to go to third. He's going to stop there, and now they may have to pinch hit for Hudson. We'll see. second and third, 2 outs. And this is a tough call for a manager.
Well, the location of the pitch, not exactly with a hanging breaking ball. He was trying to get the slider away as he did to Belt, but left it too much to the plate. And Brandon Boss opted to play the ball off the wall, knowing that Morris does not run well, or run fast, and figured if he just took his time, got the ball back in, he would keep him a third anyway.
So Hudson is going to hit. He had a very good at bat in the third inning when he drew a walk. Ray, I think if this is the 6th inning, then maybe they pinch hit for him. But that is an unbelievable start. Opponents are hitting 118 against Kazmir with runners in scoring position. Hudson drives her to center. Gentry's going back, still going back, and Gentry runs it down right near the wall.
That's a home run in a lot of parks.
So Tim Hudson drives one to the wall, and Gentry tracks it down, and the Giants do not score. Still 2-0 A's after 5. Baltimore hosts the Bay Area's best sports talk show combined with America's #1 sports website. Today at 5 p.m. on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area, it's Yahoo Sports Talk Live. And today's guest will be A's insider Joe Stiglich. Super Joe Stiglich, we like to call him. Not to be confused with Super Joe Charbonneau, former Indians Rookie of the Year.
Flash in the pan 1 year, Rookie of the Year.
That would be a one-hit wonder, yes.
Joe Stiglich is Mr. Dapper Joe Stiglich. I mean, he's puts on the Comcast Sportsnet California golf shirt, which is okay, but when he puts the coat and tie on, he is Mr. Dapper.
So the A's with a 2-0 lead over the Giants. It's the 6th inning. Tim Hudson stayed in there and hit a ball to the warning track in center field.
See, if you'd been playing at the Coliseum, they had a 3-run home run, and the ball was crushed. And very, very big area from left center at 382 over to, of course, the Triples Alley over 420 feet. And good pitchers, if they can have a hitter guide the ball in that direction, the speed of Craig Gentry, who has been a tremendous find and trade for the Athletics, and track him down.
The big thing, though, is if he was playing at the Coliseum, he wouldn't be hitting.
That's a great, although he might pinch hit.
Yeah, I guess.
That is a great point there. But I think, Buster Posey might have been looking at those offers in the reporters saying, why would I send up somebody when I know Tim Hudson's going to give a quality at bat?
One and one to Moss. Moss drives one left center field, and that's trouble. That's going to get down. Blanco has it. He spins around, fires to second, and the throw is just a bit off, and Moss has a double. He's got a nice opposite field stroke going right now.
Well, he's getting off-speed pitches from Tim Hudson. That was a hanging curveball outside, and Brandon Moss, while he will pull fastballs as he did pulling that foul, but the defense shading him to pull the ball into right center, but he went to left center, stayed inside on the curveball away from him. And the important thing, the left foot, the running, pounding on the ground, the top of the foot, and he slid feet first into second, which is a good sign to see him pop up the way he did and feel okay.
Here's Donaldson. Donaldson hits one to right field. That's it well. Pence going back, and Pence is going to watch this go. That's a two-run homer to right field, and the A's lead 4-0.
Well, maybe the only person that was not deep was the hitter Donaldson, because Pence went back like he's going to play the ball off the wall, even catch it. So Donaldson gets to 20 home runs, 65 runs batted in, and you can see 7 to right field. Wow, that is unbelievable. There's one in Toronto to right center.
So 20 homers and 65 RBIs now for Donaldson. Inside the Lowry.
I think if you are representing your team in an all-star game, your team, your league, you like to put up good numbers so that when they introduce you, they put those numbers underneath. Now the batting average maybe not where Josh wants it, but production-wise, 20 and 65 with the weekend series left into Seattle.
That one's hit past Sandoval, who was playing off the line, and Lowry's going to have a double. So double, homer, double here to open up the sixth.
Opposite field hitting. And Josh Donaldson with a very strong hit. And that's a great contact. Straight leg on the front. Lifts the front leg. One thing that Chili Davis, A's hitting coach, had noticed, and he and Josh Donaldson, was that the left leg, when he lifts the left leg, he had been kind of straight-legging it, but now he's starting to tuck it back in, which is a better timing mechanism for him. Something that he started yesterday in batting practice and not so successful during the game, but this afternoon, watch the left knee. It kind of tucks in a little bit towards the catcher. And then, of course, drops the hammer on the fastball. I think he was just trying to advance Moss to third base with a sac fly, or at least a long fly. This ball just kept carrying.
So Lowry at second with a double, and here's Callaspo. Still nobody out. Pitch way inside to Callaspo. So the A's now with 8 hits off Tim Hudson in 5+ innings. Javier Lopez starts to throw. So 1-1 the count.
Greg Gentry's the on deck circle, but you look in the last half inning, one swing on the bat, Tim Hudson could have tied the game if he'd gotten a base hit. Almost hit it over Gentry, but his tremendous speed able to run the ball down in left center. And then the A's come up with 2 more so far in this top half of the inning following that great play by Gentry.
And that one is whacked to right field. Pence hustling back, and that one's off the wall. Bounces right back to Pence. He gets it in quickly, and Lowry stops at third. Another extra base hit. So now the A's have a chance to bust this completely open.
Well, Lowry with nobody out was tagging, thinking that maybe Pence deking again, that it looked like he's going to catch the ball, so he was tagging so he could get to third base, knowing that if the ball was over his head, which it was, he was not going to be able to score. And Jed Lowry kind of in between, but figured he's going to tag, and then of course the ball went over the head.
Well, they're going to walk Gentry, so the bases will be loaded, nobody out, and it'll be the pitcher spot.
Craig Gentry will tell us after the game they've never intentionally walked me at any time in my career, and he said it twice today. But that's one of the issues of hitting eighth, and especially in a game in which his pitcher has the lead, and he will be hitting.
Well, the last 8 hitters that Hudson has faced, last 8 hitters, it's gone triple, single, strikeout, double, homer, double, double, walk. How about that? So here's Kazmir, nobody out, infield in.
Scott Kazmir has hit 2 ground balls, one to second, one to short. Both times he's taken off out of the batter's box and shut it down about halfway, and it's been the out, and second out his last time, the third out, and his first time. But what he's hoping now with the infield playing in is a ground ball. They'll go to the plate, they'll try to get a double play by going home and into first base if it's a ground ball. Just see if Kazmir runs hard if it is on the ground.
Inside, and the count 1-1. Kazmir has grounded out twice, and he swings and misses, and now it's 1-2.
If he doesn't get a hit, Kite, the best thing to do is strike out. If he hits the ball on the ground, it's probably going to be a double play. I mean, it's not that you're asking a hitter to strike out, especially the pitcher did, but odds are against him beating out any sort of a ground ball hit decently at all.
So 1-2. And off speed and foul tip, so Kazmir does strike out. And Tim Hudson's afternoon is going to be done. A couple left-handed hitters coming up. And Bruce Bochy's coming out.
Bob Melvin has pinched hit for J-So. That was in Samardzij's game on Sunday, and Derek Norris came in.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
World Series championship team on Friday, July the 18th. Saturday, July the 19th, will be joined by A's legends Ricky Henderson, Dennis Eckersley, Jose Canseco, Dave Henderson, Dave Parker, Cardinal Lansford Hall of Fame manager Tony Russa, among others. There will be an autograph session on Friday and Saturday with proceeds benefiting the Angelman Syndrome Foundation. For information, tickets, visit athletics.com/1989. That was celebrated here, and there
they look familiar.
It's Amanda and Annie, right?
It's my wife and daughter, yeah. They got good seats today. I don't know how they got those good seats.
Well,
Maybe
you
they
know people here. You know people here.
Not that much.
Yeah.
But whoever she knows, they got good seats.
I think you're right on top. I mean, this is the type of clan here. Well, it is up to Derek Norris, and like on Sunday, and even though Scott Kazmir is pitching, as was the case with Samardzija on Sunday, Coliseum, Derek Norris pinch hit. He walked and hit a run-scoring double a little bit later, so he pinch hits again.
And the first pitch is outside. So Lopez is a left-handed specialist, tough on lefties. So Norris is up there. Jaso was 2 for 3 with a single and a triple and a run scored for his day. Lowry, Callaspo, Gentry are the runners. And now it's 2-0.
Well, the one thing Bob Melvin has talked about, and I asked him about because, again, as a catcher, he knows. See the line for Tim Hudson, 79 pitches and almost a big hit. And his 3 walks and 4 strikeouts in his 5 1/3. But Bob Melvin's always concerned, again, as a former catcher, breaking up a battery between a pitcher and a catcher who are working well. But he did it with Samardzija, and Derek Norris is an exception because he is able to do well.
Pence coming in. Pence coming in. He's got it, and Lowry's going to have to stay at third as Pence gets it in, hits his cutoff man. So Norris just not quite deep enough. So 2 outs, and Stephen Vogt is going to hit.
Having 3 catchers on the roster, Vogt, of course, is playing first. He's always available, or also available if necessary.
So lefty on lefty this time. 2 runs in for the A's, but could use a couple more. This pitch is in for a strike. Lopez was a free agent this past offseason, re-signed with the Giants. And he's been here a while. Came in 2010 trade. Vogt's had a good ball game. And an RBI single in the 5th inning. 2-out RBI hit. Trying to do it again. And he's going to. Drops it into right center field. A base hit. 1 run scores. And they're going to hold up Gentry at third. And Vogt comes through again. Against a tough left-handed reliever who's got one job to get a left-handed hitter out, and Vogt spoils it.
Quality of bats again, and Bob Melvin has just been unbelievably proud of the way he has been able to handle tough pitchers and comes through. This was a 2 outs again, so really from the A standpoint, Stephen Vogt, 2 big hits, both times with 2 outs, driving in a total of 3 runs, and Tim Hudson has a couple of runs scored after it looked like Lopez is going to get out of the inning.
So Javier Lopez cannot get the left-handed hitting Vogt, and he is done. So we got Machi coming in to face Cespedes, and the A's have scored 4 times here in the 6th. with MLB.com. At bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB TV game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit athletics.com today. So a big inning for the A's, still not done. They've scored 4 times. They got 5 hits, and Stephen Vogt has done it again.
If you think of the difference, that crooked number 4 versus 6, and what Lopez did to get 2 big outs, and looked like he's going to leave the runner at third, bases loaded. And the lefty on lefty gets in, the runner's in.
So here's Gene Machi, who will face Cespedes, 2 outs and runners at the corners. Stephen Vogt, a 10-game hitting streak, and he's just, I mean, it doesn't really matter who's pitching at this point. Cespedes was swinging to hit one to the Coliseum.
You have to think about Stephen Vogt. The versatility, playing right field, first base. Catching probably is his last position right now with Norris and Jaso, with both of them in the lineup, but he's been able to play so well, and he's not injury free. He's suffering from some ailments that have happened in the last week or so, but he's able to battle through them, and I guess spend as much time in the minor leagues as he has. He's going to deal with it.
Here's a strike, and it's a quick 0-2 to Cespedes, who was hit into a double play and struck out twice. Cespedes average down to 254. Close, but a bit outside.
That's the 19th time this season the A's have batted around. 9th batter in this inning, and bat around that many times, you're going to score usually a big crooked number in the time that you do it. I mean, the A's have done it again today.
And he went around. So for the 3rd time, Cespedes strikes out, but 4 runs for the A's, the first 2 coming on Donaldson's opposite field home run. So we're going to the bottom of the 6th. A's leading 6-0. The Mariners, and this is going to be a good one, folks. Samardzija and Hernandez. Our coverage begins at 6:30 tomorrow night with A's Pregame Live, and as always, complete A's coverage every night on Sportsnet Central and CSNCalifornia.com. So should be a fun weekend up in Seattle. The Mariners know that try to make up some ground on the Athletics. Felix Hernandez, always great atmosphere at Safeco Field, and the A's are throwing some margin. So
we will see not only the king in his court, but they call it the Supreme Court now, I guess. There's so many wearing the King Felix this crown.
One and one to Hunter Pence, leading it off here in the 6th inning. So Kazmir with a nice big lead. That one's grounded to Lowry, who has it, throws quickly, and they got it.
Well, I guess we're gonna. Well, Pence thought he had gotten it. Bruce Bochy is checking in the dugout before he might come out. Let's take a look at it. And
he looks safe, but we'll see. Bruce Bochy got the call, and he is coming out. Was there enough to overturn it is really the question with every replay at this point. He was called out.
Well, we've seen Jed Lowry make the play at shortstop where he charges the ball and throws on the run. And they are going to review it.
Well, and Lowry, I mean, he knew he had to hurry.
Yeah.
I mean, Pence is pretty fast, and he really busted down the line.
Well, Pence was running out of the batter's box as soon as he makes contact. And oh wow, that's going to be overturned. At least it looks like it, because
and his foot came up a little short of the bag. You should have to make sure that that right foot made contact with the bag. If it did, then he's looked like he may have been safe. But we don't know.
We really don't. And that angle did, but I didn't see the foot that you pointed out, but that's a good. Yeah, it's his toe on the bag. Usually when you step that close,
should be some type of contact,
yeah,
but you never know. But the foot looked like it got to the bag.
So you're saying Hunter Pence should head back to first base, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
for no other reason than
now the Diamond Vision, nice big beautiful board in center field. I don't know if I've seen a replay yet. He's in front of the dugout, kind of waiting. He was emphatic when he crossed first base, and usually as the umpires will listen for the ball in the glove and watch the foot, and I think the runner does the same thing.
The Giants have not had much luck in this area in this series.
Toe, front of the bag, right there. It kind of scoots in because it kicks up dirt once.
Yeah.
He does it, and
here they come, and they're calling him safe. So Paul Nauert, the first base umpire, will trot back, and Bruce Bochy gets a call overturned, and Pence will be awarded with a base hit. So 17 overturned out of 27 challenges. So leadoff man is on, and that'll bring up Crawford. Crawford a strikeout and a ground out. Crawford taps one foul. So 84 pitches for Kazmir with nobody out in the 6th inning. So the 3rd inning got him a little bit, 26, and actually the at bat to Hudson is what really got him in that 3rd inning.
10 pitches.
And a strike right on the outside corner. Good pitch, and the count is 0-2.
Remember the Detroit game, Kazmir, a little quick pitch to Miguel Cabrera, the fastball outside. It's not necessarily a quick pitch as it comes in set position as he did to Crawford, but goes very quickly towards the plate, taking any opportunity away for the runner to take off.
So 1-2 now with the power hitters coming up. So this is a big guy to get. Swing and a miss, blew it right by him. So Crawford strikes out for the second time. Here's our Ford right choice, May 26th of this year. That's Jeff Samardzija pitching right here at AT Park. He struck out 10, and he got the win. Went 7 innings, gave up 3 earned runs through 109 pitches. So he's got a win against the Giants, and he'll try to beat the Mariners on Friday night against King Felix. That's our Ford right choice.
Well, he's got a great assortment of pitches that he likes to use. 10+ strikeout game. This is 8th.
Donaldson has it. Throws the second for 1, and that's the only out they get. And there was a drop of the baseball, but it was on the exchange from Cayaspo.
Well, a rule that once in place, this would not have been allowed, but this time it was. And your brother knows as well as anybody, being a very good second baseman, and talked to some guys, and they're talking about catching that and just being able to do it. I don't know at that time, though, he was transferring. It looked like he just clanked out of his glove.
No, I agree.
But a lot of times a second baseman will use the glove just kind of as a pad and not really have the ball clearly in the glove. It must have been a play similar to that your brother was talking about when we first saw the Giants. Bill Mazeroski, probably one of the best second basemen to come across the bag, and it's like a hot potato. Very rarely even came close to the ball in the glove, and on to first base to turn to.
Posey a shot. Cayaspo has it scoot past him. So Posey hit it very hard, and the Giants will have 2 on and 2 out here in the 6th inning.
Well, take it to the side, and you use your body. You're going to take it right in the chest and try to come up with a glove.
So I did not hear the ruling. They gave him a hit.
Yeah,
there's an error up there by the A's, and I don't.
Wow.
No, they have not had one except that one.
Yeah, shaking his head. Is that an error? Did you say error, BI?
Yep.
Wow.
So E4. Michael Morris not happy with Angel Hernandez. Otero's going to start to get loose. Now it's 0-2.
Thinking back to infielder by the name of Vern Fuller. I know you remember that name of the Indians.
Right.
Playing second base of the great Hall of Famer Willie McCovey. Instead of spring training because we didn't play him regular season at the time. He had a ball so hard, similar to the one that Posey just hit. He caught it in mid-section, dropped him back 10 feet. Took him to the outfield on a one-hopper. They called him Blade because he was thin, but he got in front of it, but it just air-milled him into the outfield.
Swing and a miss. He threw it right by Morris with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. So the Giants strand a pair. 6-0 the A's lead.
Stephen Vogt, and I think the A's players and A's fans do. That was a big 2-out base hit. That scored the second run. What a game he has had. Josh Donaldson, of course, going opposite field with his 20th home run, 65 runs driven in, a 2-run shot to right field. Very excited. And Scott Kazmir, what an afternoon for him as he's looking for win number 11. He's pitched 6 innings of shutout baseball, mixing good fastballs, change-ups. Vince didn't like the fastball in, but Scott Kazmir pitching like an all-star, which he will be next Tuesday in Minneapolis, representing the Athletics as one of 7. Athletics counting Samardzija. 93 pitches for the A's left-hander.
Moss to lead it off. He'll be followed by Donaldson and Lowry. Moss with a single and a double and 2 runs scored, so he's had a good afternoon. And the first pitch is called a strike, off-speed pitch. Moss led off the second with a single, and he led off the 6th with a double.
And both times scored, which has helped the A's with their 6 runs.
Behind now 0-2.
We talked coming in the game, the middle 3 of the batting order for the Athletics in today's game. Cespedes, Moss, and Donaldson had been struggling, but today, with the exception of Cespedes, who struck out 3 times, 5 hits, making 4 hits and a walk between Moss and Donaldson. 3 runs scored, a couple driven in.
And he lines one to right field, Pence back, and makes a basket catch. So 1 out. Here's Jamie Baker, San Jose Sharks and Comcast Sportsnet California. Radio announcer for the Sharks. Played for the Sharks, and he's an all-around good guy. Tyrone Willingham in the house. Head football coach at Stanford and Notre Dame. Jeff Smart saying, "Hey, Coach Ty."
And Bob Melvin said, "Hey, Coach Ty, just leave him right where he is. We like him here, pitching for the Athletics."
Donaldson, a walk, a single, and a 2-run home. So Donaldson's home run, 20th on the season. He now has 65 RBIs. Fastball that runs inside. So 2-1 the count with Lowry to follow. A's have 10 hits in the game. 5 came in the last inning. Hit hard, but right to Sandoval. 2 away. So Donaldson is retired for the first time. Maybe he's ready for a big weekend in Seattle. So here's Lowry, who's got a double. He doubled and scored in the 6th. He's had 3 doubles, a triple, and a home run in this game. Pitch is in for a strike.
where he said to the guys back in San Francisco, at least in the studio, why the differences with the A's playing in Oakland versus here in San Francisco. I think today it's proven that it's come down to pitching. It's about pitching, and for the A's to put 6 runs on the board, Scott Kazmir has done his job. Jason Hamill had a cramp in his thumb last night, which was scary watching him. But 5 innings for the new right-hander, standing next to his former teammate with the Cubs, Jeff Samardzija. I hated to look at that thumb and think of my finger.
Hicks has it. And that's a 3-up, 3-down inning. 7th inning stretch from AT&T Park. All Athletics this afternoon. They lead 6-0. Been terrific. 8 strikeouts in 6 innings, and he has kept the Giants off the board. A couple times that they've threatened, he's made a big pitch. Allison's got a home run. Kazmir 93 pitches, and the first pitch is a strike to Belt.
Well, you've been right on target with those sliders to Belt.
He's got no chance.
Because he has stayed with the slider, especially get to 3-2 in the last at bat.
Belt is 0 for 13 in the series. And the fastball is right there, and Belt takes it.
I like Alfonso Soriano against Kazmir in New York. Changed up the fastball, and here comes the slider. Oh, fastball. You got to be kidding. There's your slider.
There it is. So Kazmir does his thing with Belt and strikes him out for the second time.
Well, just kind of pitched him back and forth. I guess from Belt's standpoint, guessing incorrectly. But excellent pitch again by Kazmir, using slider and his fastball.
So 1 away, and here's Hicks. And Hicks hits one very high in the air, left center field. And Gentry has it, and that's out number 2. So Hicks not waiting around, swings at the first pitch. I just think, Greg, starting pitcher is shutting you down and he's getting to 100 pitches and you're down 6-0, I think you should try to work it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because you know at around 100 or plus he's going to be out of the game.
And you're not doing anything against.
No, and it's you're banking on getting a first pitch fastball, and really it looked like Brandon Hicks tried to hit a home run, which is not something you want to do when you are down 6. Think about that, slapping a ball, but slow curve. Blanco could not continue with the slap hit.
Blanco doubled in the 5th inning. Hit one down toward the right field corner. So 1-1 the count. Smera Petit starts to throw. That's funny, too, Rays. We've watched Blanco for 4 games now, and he's struggling. We told you, really in a slump, and he's very fast. He's not tried to bunt one time. Not one time.
He tried to think about slap hitting, which is not really a bunt. It's running out of the box and slapping at the ball to try to hit it to the left side. More of a base hit to left field than instead of a bunt. But I agree. When you have a kind of speed and you're struggling, you should be attempting to bunt at least a couple times every game.
Yep, yeah, that's right. And he has not tried to do it one time. Three and 1 the count here with a pinch hitter Arias waiting in the on deck circle. That one's hit hard, but Lowry, who grabs it on one hop, spins around, throws just in time, side retired. So Kazmir, 3 up, 3 down, 7th inning, and we're headed to the 8th. 6-0 A's.
Sportsnet California is brought to you by Xfinity, home of the most live sports, and by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
7 shutout innings for Scott Kazmir, just 3 hits allowed. So his final start before the All-Star break is a good one. And when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. So Smera Petit comes in. And it is a double switch. We'll tell you the double switch in a moment.
I think somebody's getting a bat and a helmet. Scott Kazmir is scheduled to hit 3rd in this inning at 103 pitches.
So here Adrianza is the new second baseman. Adrianza will hit 9th. So there's your double switch. Callaspo, Gentry, and then the pitcher spot here in the top of the 8th inning. Sogard getting ready.
I see a double switch for the Athletics, maybe with Sogard staying in the game at second base. As Callaspo is hitting in the 7th spot, something that Bob Melvin has done when the A's have had the lead. Occasionally put in Sogard at second defensively.
One and two to Callaspo, who has doubled, scored, hit a sacrifice fly. And that one's on the inside corner, strike 3 call. So Callaspo now 1 for 3.
Not much movement, just a 4-seam fastball inside corner, nailed it perfectly, and that's a very good pitch by the right-hander with good velocity. Excellent location.
So here's Gentry for his 4th at bat. He's been intentionally walked a couple of times and he has grounded out. And that gets Buster Posey, and he's gotten a lot of them over the last couple of years.
Often wonder, and catchers who do wear the hockey style mask, but this is a direct blow. And he's checking the bars, but watch the head. Maybe I should play first base.
That was a good one.
That unfortunately was a direct blow. I mean, he just staying there. Adrian Hernandez kind of bracing him a little bit so he wouldn't fall back.
One pitch is a fastball high, 1-1 the count.
And Cap, there's nothing a catcher can do about it, because you can put your glove up with the ball that's coming. But watch as his glove is there, but a foul tip, it changes direction, goes over the glove, straight into the mask. And that's what happened to Adrian Johnson when the ball was foul tipped and missed the catcher and straight back on the umpire. And again, I tell you, the umpires talk about the slots where the left or the right of the catcher. I would umpire stand right behind him. Get as much protection as possible. But they usually are offset to the left or right of the catcher, which means their whole body, especially the upper part of the body, is very exposed. See Adrian Hernandez.
Well, I think at some point in the future, Posey will probably be moved to a different position. Two pitch. And a liner just fouled. Gentry out in front just a little bit. It's kind of the double-edged sword, Ray. It's having your best player be your catcher.
Yeah.
I think it's an asset, but it can be difficult too because you have to rest him at times. Now, he can play other positions.
But at least in the American League, when Joe Mauer would not catch, he would usually DH. And Mark Redmond, who's the manager of Miami, would usually catch on the days that Mauer got the afternoon off behind the plate. Mike Redmond, that is. But if a catcher catches 130 games, that's a lot.
Yeah, big time.
And he misses 32, which is equivalent to about 1+ a week. And if a catcher can miss a game a week, day game after night game, when the body takes a little bit longer to recover, that's essentially 1 game a week. They catch 6, take 1 off. But if those games in the National League, you're completely off and your best hitter is that catcher, you prefer to have him someplace other than behind the plate where he can play every day and utilize his bat on an everyday basis. And not even thinking about he's your best hitter. But then if his body is worn down from catching, how does he have a good at bat every time he goes to the plate?
It's going to affect you.
Between the legs and taking bumps and bruises. Derek Norris is in the game today. As he came on the bus, we talked to him about last night trying to block a ball. He got him on the right wrist, and he's feeling that all night, and then he comes into the game today. And that was a fastball that O'Flaherty bounced in front of him. He did his best to get his body in front, found his bare hand, his right hand. And I think Posey's feeling the effects of that ball off his match.
Sure. I don't think there's any question. Two pitch to Gentry, and Posey was able to hang on to that one, and that's a foul tip, and that's a strikeout.
Well, a foul tip, and this is one that just barely made contact. It changed direction, though, that Posey was able to hang on.
So 2 outs. Yeah, and listen, a player with a resume like his, where your first 4 years, you're rookie of the year, your MVP, your batting title, and 2 world championships. You got to move them, you move them. And I think at some point, the Giants will do that. 0-1 to the pinch hitter, Eric Sogard, hitting for Kazmir. Sogard getting an at-bat. Kazmir done after 7 shutout innings.
Montero getting ready to come in. Kazmir a shutout, not a shutout, but a complete game against the Tigers on May the 28th, and since then he's gone at least 6, except at a 5 1/3 in Detroit, but also had the game in New York where he pitched just 3 innings. So coming back off the 5 1/3 in Detroit, 7 against Toronto's last start, 7 today against the Giants, and just 1 run in his last start. So 1 run in Detroit. The humidity got him in Detroit.
Yep.
Monday night.
So 1-2. Tita struck out the first 2 here in the 8th inning. And he strikes out the side. Off speed pitch. Sogard chased it. Bottom of the 8th coming up. It's the Athletics 6 and the Giants nothing. Game summary is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. 6-10-1 for the A's, 0-3-0 for the Giants. So the A's trying to take 3 out of 4 in this Bay Bridge series here in 2014. That's exactly what they did last year. He's lead the all-time series 52-47. So 8th inning, bottom of the 8th. Adrianza, who came in on the double switch, swings at the first pitch and lofts one down the left field line, and Cespedes is going to let it drop, and Adrianza, for some reason, stops at first base. So Cespedes, it looked like he was there, and then it dropped and it trickled past him. But Adrianza is at first base.
He wasn't running out of the box. I think he thought the ball was going to slice foul. You cannot assume that. And Cespedes had a long way to run, but the ball checked up, and he missed the bag. That's why he had to go back, Kite. Stepped right over the bag.
So here's Pence. And that one's hit down the right field line, but foul. So I got a good one for you, Red.
Yep.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. And here's the numbers on Dan Otero. Terrific. 7-1, 1.98 ERA. And a workhorse he has been.
Can't wait for this good one.
Yeah, you're going to like this because I think you're going to agree with me. So you're a rookie and you just get off the disabled list. The position you play, the starting guy is coming back tomorrow. And you don't run hard to first base.
And
that makes absolutely no sense.
And you don't touch the bag either. Watch this. He steps, goes around it, and right over it. And I think I better go back and touch first. Maybe somebody saw that besides the television.
But the reason you miss first base is because you're looking.
That's right.
And Moss is going to play this one out. Pence has a single to right field, so 2 more hits today for Hunter Pence.
And that's a run if he's at second base. But you're right, you run hard, you can run around the bag real hard, and then make an adjustment if necessary. Meanwhile, Dan Otero, a ground ball pitcher, 2 balls in the air. And Scott Kazmir, 7 innings of shutout baseball, and he has been known to throw a few ground balls himself, but today they're taking advantage of the large yard here in San Francisco, whether intended or not. He had 7, make it 9 fly ball outs.
So 2 on, nobody out. Here's Crawford. Crawford fouls it straight back.
Tough day on catchers and umpires. Anybody with the gear on, tough day, and different type of mask for Derek Norris. More of the steel barbed variety. A lot of padding on the beard and the forehead. Still, you feel it though.
So Angel Hernandez doing the right thing as an umpire, making sure his catcher's okay.
It is an amazing day when one umpire had to leave, and the 2 catchers, 2 of the 3 catchers that is in today's game, are taking a solid blow off the face.
Crawford lifts one to left center field. Gentry over. And Gentry's got it, and that's out number 1.
You know, Cap, I've been thinking about Adrianza, and as you mentioned perfectly about running. How about the guy who may be here someplace watching, Willie Mays, who was the best at rounding the bag so aggressively that if you made any slight mistake in the outfield, he's standing on himself. Almost to the point that he rounded the bag and slid to stop himself. But Willie Mays, to say, hey kid, what a treat he was to watch, as long as you didn't have to play against him, because he was the best.
Here's Sandoval. Yeah, it's hard to figure out sometimes. You're not trying to bury the kid, but
no, it's
you're
just
a rookie. Run.
Really, just play hard. And you know, and I think also when Willie McCovey and Willie Mays and those guys are around the park almost every day, and you know they're here and you're playing, why wouldn't you run hard? Why wouldn't you play the game the right way?
It's a base hit to left field. They're going to wave Adrianza home. And Cespedes going to come up throwing, and his throw just a little bit late. So Sandoval has an RBI single, and the Giants are finally on the board at 6-1.
And the A's know that the history of the Giants and watching them this year, the success they've had in their home park, they don't give up. And Sandoval, once he puts the ball in play, and he will use the whole field, and this time to left field. And Flannery, always aggressive one at third.
So Gregerson gets up. 3 hits in the inning off Otero.
And Dan Otero, as we know, is 1 ground ball away from being out of the inning. It's a ground ball pitcher.
And that's the first hit, obviously, with runners in scoring position. And in this 4-game series, the Giants are 3 for 26 with runners in scoring position. And then you see the A's, a completely different deal where they're banging out 2-out RBI hits. Here's Posey. First pitch is a good one. Fastball on the outside corner for a strike. Posey's 0 for 3. He reached on an error in the 6th inning. And that one is rolled foul out in front.
Let's get it back.
See, Otero took a little off.
Randall Abad joining Kurt Gregerson in the bullpen. And the left-handers the A's have now 3 good lefties in the bullpen. Of course, the righties, we know who they are.
Pence at second, Sandoval at first, a run in. And Posey swings and misses. He goes down to 1 knee, and on 3 pitches he strikes out.
But he almost screwed himself in the ground. Watch it, almost hit his back foot. This is a hard sinker down and in, and his back leg gave out from under him a little bit as he swung, but that was headed towards the right leg. Oh.
So 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Morris is 1 for 3, a single and 2 strikeouts. And a strike on the outside corner.
The 2-seam fastball brought back by Dan Otero, which is a hard sinker down and in to Posey, and the backdoor 2-seamer to this right hand. Slider away.
Just had a little chat with the trainer. So I'm with you, Ray. I don't think he's feeling 100%.
And he was adamant after his serious injury that he wanted to remain behind the plate, but man, you take such a beating. I mean, even if you don't get hit, you take a beating.
Yeah, that's right. Squatting 150
times.
Yeah,
I was going to say it's hard to people to imagine that, but it's the wear and tear on your legs, your knees, and that's why he's young.
And Morris almost went around, but he did not, and now it's 3-1.
And this is a big at bat for Otero with this power hitter. As Matt was held up with the right hand. Because Belt in the on-deck circle and Abad heating up in the bullpen.
So 3-1. And there's the pitch. That one's hit to left field, but in the ballpark as Morris got jammed. And Cespedes has it side retired. A run on 3 hits. And we're on to the night. 6-1, the A's lead. fan. Know It All with Sportsnet Center. It's brought to you by AT Uverse. It's coming up this evening at 6 p.m. and it's over on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. We'll have Joe Stiglitz post-game notes, all the highlights and clubhouse reaction from our game. Steve Kerr's first day of coaching. We get a report from Las Vegas. Andrea Nakano and Ahmed Fareed will host. It's the 9th inning. And the A's with a 6-1 lead, trying to get their 58th win. And then see what the Angels do tonight. Angels are opening up a series against the Rangers in Arlington. Notes from the Angels. Eric Ibar was named to the All-Star team today as a replacement for Alex Gordon. Alex Gordon on the disabled list. So Eric Ibar, who, from what we've been seeing, having a very good year for the Angels. So their fine shortstop is an All-Star. And the Angels put C.J. Wilson on the disabled list. He's got a bad ankle. And I guess if you're going to put somebody on the disabled list, do it now and use the All-Star break to help you a little bit.
Well, and we're going to see when you're going to Seattle that Taijuan Walker, the young pitcher who pitched him, was option AAA. Want to make sure he stayed on his normal turn next week. And with the 4-day All-Star break, it does give general managers, the option of sending a pitcher down or somebody to DL. Well, last year, Dan Straley was sent down after Pittsburgh is when Sonny Gray came up and made a couple of appearances out in the bullpen, was sent back to AAA and came back for good. So it is a good time of the year. Josh Reddick is going to be in a rehab assignment. Drew Pomeranz during that period of time.
1-2 to Norris, hitting for the second time. We mentioned a Yadier Molina injury, which is a torn ligament in his thumb. He's going to be out 8 to 12 weeks. And now we're hearing out of the same division, Brandon Phillips, very fine second baseman for the Cincinnati Reds. Same thing, ligament damage in his thumb, and he's going to be out for a couple months. I mean, that's two extremely important players in the same division, and two teams chasing the Brewers in that division.
Cap, you think of the All-Stars. I mean, and there's a couple All-Stars that are out there. Here's one hitting who got a ball hit off his hand last night. And Scott Kazmir, when Hicks called for timeout, was granted late. He almost stumbled. Who knows what could have happened there? So a lot of things can occur between now and Sunday, the final game of the first half of the season.
And Norris swings and misses. So Petita struck out all 4 hitters.
The 15th annual A's Root Beer Float Day is set for Wednesday, July 23rd. A's players, coaches, local celebrities, and more will serve fans root beer floats for $2 each. Mug signed by manager Bob Melvin will be available for $25 and $15 non-autographed mugs with unlimited refills are also available. Proceeds benefit the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. As always, the admission is free with a game ticket. Great ice cream, root beer. Okay. Third base coach Mike Gallego will once again be on hand to throw to Yoenis Cespedes, the home run derby on Monday night. And I told Gags, I said, the heck with the hitter. Pitcher has to throw strikes. That's a lot of pressure. And as Gags said, if Cespedes doesn't get the pitch right where he wants it, he'll kind of look at him like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that makes it even worse, right? Then now you got TV. I mean,
exactly.
Nobody watches batting practice on TV for a regular season game because it's not on TV. But this is the home run hitting contest, and everybody's watching.
Cespedes framed a nice jersey for Mike Gallego from the All-Star game last year. His Gags did a great job. Of course, during the regular season, certain coaches throw to certain groups in batting practice. So Mike Gallego is just perfect. He knows where Cespedes wants the pitches, usually down and in. And he could throw it right there, and Cespedes will crush him. I asked Gags, I said, do you actually watch after you give up a ball like that?
Nice play by Adrianza, taking a hit away from Vogt.
Hit another one hard, nobody on base, though. But Gags said, yeah, I'll throw the pitch, and then when he hits one in the third deck, I'll go, ooh, ah, like everybody else. Vogt, a solid swing on a good fastball, but to the second baseman. And I wanted to mention, because Mike Gallego, in talking about Tim Flannery, the third base coach for the Giants, very, it's a great musician, singer-songwriter. But Tim Flannery said he managed in AAA and minor leagues, and so he learned how to coach third base. Mike Gallego said, I never did that. He said, I learned from Tim Flannery. And Flannery said, wait a minute, he said that about me? And they actually, I guess, in articles, they text back and forth, and both of them are very astute at knowing the outfielder's arm strengths. But Tim Flannery and Mike Gallego, and of course, Gags learned at this level. He's been a very good third base coach. But Tim Flannery, who wears cleats, because he's up and down the third base coaching box to make sure he doesn't slip and slide. But he has an album out called Outside Lands, and he wrote the songs, and he is outstanding singing and writing. And Brian Stowe, of course, we know the incident happened to him down in Los Angeles, but not proceeds, but every penny that's realized from the sale of that album, Outside Lands, goes to the Brian Stowe family and for the medical expenses for him. So
Tim Flannery's not making a dime.
Matter of fact,
sales of the album.
He said that somebody said, well, why don't you just write a check? He said, I didn't play and make a lot of money. He said he wrote a check for $19,000 to produce the album himself. And he does not take one penny from the album. And it is very good. I've listened to it, and he is outstanding. So congratulations to him, and tremendous on his part.
That's a great story. So we're going to the bottom of the ninth. A's trying to wrap it up with a 6-1 lead.
Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Oakland. By authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Here is today's Honda Player of the Game. No doubt, the All-Star, one of the All-Stars of the Athletics, Scott Kazmir. A's, who lost last night to end their 6-game winning streak, needed to get back on track today, and Scott Kazmir pitching will always do that. And he was outstanding. His first base runner was the pitcher, Tim Hudson, a 10-pitch at bat, walking him. Sneaky fastball to Morris there. Good changeups. Outstanding performance. 3 hits, no runs, a walk, and 9 strikeouts for Scott Kazmir. 7 solid innings of pitching.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts as Fernando Abad comes in. Otero goes an inning after Kazmir went 7, and Abad will try to get the final 3 outs, making his 44th appearance. So he's going to face a pinch hitter, Joaquin Arias. So Arias hitting for Belt. The last thing Belt wanted was to face another nasty left-hander.
That's a great point.
So Arias, Hicks, actually Hicks is out of the game. The next spot in the lineup is the pitcher spot. Looks like Hector Sanchez is going to hit. This one's popped up and it'll reach the seats. So after the game, the A's will get on the buses, head over to the Oakland airport, and head to Seattle. So make sure you join us tomorrow night. It's going to be a fun night tomorrow night at Safeco Field with Felix Hernandez facing Jeff Samardzija in game 1 of that 3-game series. Arias, it's a little pop-up. Moss coming over, shading his eyes, and Moss has it. 1 out. So Samardzija making his second start for the A's, and Felix Hernandez, we haven't heard anything, but I would think Felix Hernandez is a very legitimate candidate to start the All-Stars. Right. If he's pitching on Friday, he would have 3 days rest. He's really having a very, very good year.
And if this game holds the way it is right now and the A's are victorious, they know before the 2 teams that are chasing them play tonight, they have an 8-game lead and a 3.5-game lead at worst starting to play tomorrow night.
Cespedes comes in, and Sanchez, the pinch hitter, is retired on 1 pitch, 2 outs. So Blanco gets his 4th at bat. Blanco, a strikeout, a double, and a ground out. A's post-game live coming up after the ball game, so join us for that. Talk to one of the hitting stars from the game today. Maybe we'll see if we can talk to that Donaldson guy. What do you think about that?
Yeah, he's an all-star.
Home run to right field.
Dick Callahan, a great job introducing him at the Coliseum. Starting third baseman for the American League. Josh said, enough's enough. One time, that's it. But he is an all-star. He's the starting third baseman for the American League. John Farrell.
And it's 0-2 to Blanco. Blanco is going to argue.
So when Josh Donaldson lines up, you got the captain, the Hall of Famer, Derek Jeter, next to him.
You know what? Let's ask him about that.
That's be your first question. There's a change up, maybe caught a little bit low.
0-2 pitch, and it's dribbled up the third base line, and the throw to first, and he's safe. As maybe Vogt came off the bag. It was going to be a close play whether he came off the bag or not. So Blanco's going to have an infield hit.
Now Melvin's going to go out, and I think maybe question about the foot, or maybe to challenge it. But Derek Norris, and to your point, after we see this finish, and he didn't call him off the bag, Kite, but I think that's the key. Looked like he was pulled off a little bit, and we're going to look at it. Because if his foot was on the bag, he's out. And we saw him on one play where he did keep his foot on as he fell off, but
so we'll see. This may be the end of the ball game.
The Cap, to your point about Blanco, and I think that showed it right there. That ball was tapped in front of the plate, and with his speed, it forced Derek Norris to hurry, make a strong, quick throw, and maybe the hurried throw might have pulled him off. We'll see. Check the left foot. He catches the ball beforehand. He's in the air. Is his foot on the bag? And if it is, he's out. So it's just a matter of his momentum after he caught the ball. Took him clearly off the bag. And I tell you, Paul and Howard in the midst of it again, but he's looking right at. But you know, normally if they pull him off the bag, Kite, they give that motion of off the bag. He did? Oh, he did. Okay, my apologies.
Yeah, he did make that
I
signal
didn't see that
briefly. Yeah,
okay.
It was quick though. But
yeah, because that part I didn't see. But if he did, then that would indicate he thought he came off, because he was looking right at it.
Okay. So here's your safe, and then he does a little, pushed him off a little bit, right?
Okay, then there. Yeah, I saw the safe and then watching the foot, but yes, he did show. And the fact that he had the angle at watching, then he must have seen something that it looked like Bolt's foot was not on the back.
Bob Melvin says, let's get that third out through video replay.
And didn't the Giants lose a game in Pittsburgh on a ball that they were challenged at?
It was a walk-off.
It was error. A triple with an error.
See, what would you would call it, a walk-off reversal ball games.
That's right.
And the call, they got it right.
Yeah. And the celebration occurred for the walk-off about 5 minutes later. It was a triple. The runner scored after the overthrow, and the play at the plate ruled out, but they challenged it, ruled safe, and celebration began. We've seen home runs that, and guys that stopped at second, got to finish going around the plate. We've seen that one at the plate.
And listen, I mean, you could sit at home and say, well, come on, there's 2 outs, and that doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Doesn't matter. Score, inning, outs. I mean, it just doesn't matter.
Call them out.
And they called him out. How about that? Wow. Call overturned. And so the A's win it by a final score of 6-1, and they take 3 out of 4 from the San Francisco Giants in this year's Bay Bridge Series. And they outscore the Giants 19-7 during the series. So A's will head to Seattle and get ready for a big 3-game weekend showdown with the Mariners. Final score this afternoon, Athletics 6, the Giants 1. You've been watching Oakland A's baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Brody Brazil and Pip Roberts starts right now.